Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Fantasy Premier League with FPL Visit. I hope you're all fine and I hope you all had a great international break. I hope you recharge your batteries and are ready for the final bout of the season. There's gonna be no international break before the end of the season now, guys, so get ready for this final race. And, after I think a much needed break especially for my own team and especially after the decisions that I made in Game Week 29. I think I needed this break really badly, guys. So before I start, I'd like to welcome you all and thank you all for being here on the live stream. And I would just like to show you the blunder that happened in Game Week 29 for my team. And I honestly, the international break came at a right time for me. So here is my team for Game Week 29. I prepared really well. I was thinking since a long time about this blank game week, and I wanted to dead end, and I wanted to kind of wildcard in game week 30. And the two transfers that I made, guys, was the absolute shambolic transfers that I could have made. I got Bale and I got Aubameyang. I know, I just wanted to take a bit of a risk, and I took out. Not even sure who I took out. I think Salah, yeah. I transferred out Salah for Aubameyang and I transferred out somebody for Bale. And I just wanted to make the most of Game Week 29 and I wanted to attack it. And my options, guys, were, I was looking at either Lingard and Trossard, or I was looking at Aubameyang and Bale. And I think the price of Aubameyang and Bale, I think it swayed my mind a bit. And because I thought Aubameyang is always a premium player, a heavy hitter. Bale obviously was in good form and was doing well, and I was like, Trossard, Lingard, Bale, Aubameyang. I should kind of I wanted to take a punt. I took a hit and I brought in Bale and Aubameyang. It was a disaster, guys. I got like 35 points and I took a hit, so 31 points, and my rank was like close to. It was, at one point in the season, it was around 75k, and now it's, close to 200k. But the international break came at a right time, and I thought about my team, and I really could have wildcarded, guys. And, as I said, it was possibly the right time to wildcard, and, but the thing is, players going all over the place, internationals, COVID situation, because I'm suffering this season because of my first wildcard, guys. When I wildcarded in game week 16, it was a good plan and everything, and I brought in 3 Spurs players for their double game week, and I think they had a good fixture. Or I think they had certainly, they had a couple of good fixtures, and both the games got called off due to coronavirus. And my first wildcard kind of got burned, and that is the reason I'm treating really carefully when I wildcard the second time. I don't want to waste it. I have to get close to the kind of target I set for my overall rank at the start of the season. Although the last few weeks haven't been great, but I'm gonna keep plugging. So, to kind of stem the flow a little bit, I've made 2 transfers, guys, and I'll come back and answer your questions right after I finish telling you about my own team. I've made 2 transfers, guys, and I've kept Bale because I brought him in for a hit last game week, and he has a good fixture. He played in the international, seems fit enough. I hope he starts. If he doesn't, I've got Gundogan to come off the bench, so not a big problem there. So I took out Aubameyang, who I couldn't bear having in my team after that shambles of Game Week 29. And I brought in Bruno Fernandes, who I think has a good fixture against Brighton. And, I think Sheffield United are a bit of a kind of what can you do it call it's a team that we all can attack after Chris Wilder has gone. They got they got battered really badly. I mean, they are Sheffield United are not in good form. I mean, I would like to show you. In fact, they got beat 5-0, I think, was it? Yeah. Yeah, they got beat 5-0 by Leicester. And I mean, although Leicester is a good team, but 5-0 should set the alarm bells ringing for Sheffield United. I think they're going to get relegated. So I think once their relegation is confirmed, or once they're close to relegation, I think they're going to become the team to attack. So I'm just taking one step forward, and I'm looking at two teams who I think are close to relegation. Newcastle, I'm attacking Newcastle, and I'm attacking Sheffield United. Yes, I know I've got two players against Fulham as well, but I expect them to survive. I think they can. So but I expect possibly Aston Villa to keep a clean sheet. Watkins, I've preferred Watkins over Gundogan. I know some might feel that this is the wrong decision, guys, but why I preferred Watkins over Gundogan. I think Grealish is going to be back, and with Grealish back and Watkins scoring a goal on international duty for England, I think he's going to be confident. And since he doesn't have many game weeks left in my team, guys, so I thought, why not give Watkins one chance to redeem himself. And if he doesn't, I mean, if he doesn't, if he hits the post or the woodwork again, I mean, honestly, it would just make it so much easier to take him out on the wildcard without feeling bad. And as FPL General once said, he can hit the post on his way out. I don't care. So Watkins, last chance saloon. I know I've got McCarthy in my team. I don't expect him to play. So Fraser Forster is going to start. So I mean, my keeper is not ideal, but I didn't want to take a hit for a goalkeeper because I'm going to wildcard in Gameweek 31 possibly. So, I didn't want to take a hit, guys, and that is the reason I've got Sam Johnston, against Chelsea coming in off my bench. So, but other than my keeper, I'm pretty happy. Diaz, maybe not the best, but, you can't have 11 good players every game week. So I just had to make do because I made a couple of bad moves like Aubameyang and Bale in 29. So I couldn't redeem myself totally, but I took a hit. I brought in Fernandes and I brought in Bamford, guys. So this is about my team, and Harry Kane is going to be my captain this game week. Although I tend not to captain players when I have three players from the same team. I tend to captain somebody else. I mean, ideally I would captain Bruno Fernandes, but I think Brighton are a good team. They play good football, and I think the last time United played them, Brighton absolutely dominated United. So although I expect Bruno to score some points, but I think Kane is a good captaincy option. I mean, I could look at the Leeds United assets as well. I think Bamford, Rafinha, they're pretty good options as well. But for this game week, I do not want to go differential. I just want to go with Kane. So this is about my team, guys. And now I'm going to come back and answer your questions. Thank you for patiently listening to me talking about my team, and I'm going to come back and answer your questions now. Alright, so Profulit says Pope or Martinez. For this game week, I'd say Martinez. Adrian says still got Bale. Yeah, I think you already got your answer. Gundogan or Son? I think definitely Son, Vansh. Definitely Son. SH says, hey Viz, how are you? I'm fine, SH. I'm pretty good. I hope the same for you as well. Paul says Bale or Lingard, Captain Bruno or Kane. I think you can, out of Bale and Lingard, I'd say it's a bit touch and go. It depends on whether you have Antonio in your team, if you have any other West Ham players. If you have Antonio, I'd say you could take a bit of a risk with Bale. It depends on what your rank is as well and what are you hoping for. Captain Bruno or Kane, you already know my answer. They're both great options. I'm just going with Kane because I feel he's the safe option, and I feel Newcastle have been really atrocious. And I feel with Son fit again, and with the kind of Tottenham needing to keep in touch with the Europa League spots, and I think Kane is the better option. How much in the bank, says Adrian. I think I don't have too much in the bank. I've got 0.7 million in the bank, but it doesn't matter since, I've got a wildcard in the next game week. Michael says, Wiz, I still have wildcard, bench boost, and triple captain. What is the best strategy to use them? What game weeks to use them in? Michael, that's great to have your triple captain and bench boost at this point of the season. And in my opinion, there is going to be a double game week for, not in my opinion, actually. There's a confirmed double game week for Spurs in Game Week 32. And I think you can kind of use your, triple captain in that Game Week 32, and in Game Week 35 we expect that there's going to be another double game week, so you can possibly target your bench boost for Game Week 35. So in my opinion, that is the best time to use them. Fudzili says, just for 1 week, Bamford or Chelsea defender. Already got Rafinha and Dallas. Fudzili, to be honest with you, I had the same choice. As you see, I've brought in Bamford in for a hit, and I had the same choice whether to bring in Bamford for a week or whether to go for somebody like Alonso. The problem with Alonso, I thought, was I was not sure whether he's going to start or not. If you look at the pattern, it's just a bit hard to accept Rudiger and Azpilicueta. I think with Reece James and Alonso, Chilwell, it's a bit hard to guess which one's going to start. I think Tuchel is worse than Pep when it comes to rotation because it just doesn't have a pattern to it. So in my opinion, that is the reason I didn't go for Alonso. I thought about it. I really did think about it, and I thought Bamford or Alonso. So that is the reason I know Bamford is going to start, and Sheffield United are a bit of whipping boys. They're just going to take a beating, and they took a 5-0 beating from Leicester, and I expect them to take a beating from Leeds because Leeds are such a team. So that's why I went for Bamford. So that's my decision, because I had the same decision to make, and I know people are going left, right, and center crazy getting Chelsea defenders in, but I'm gonna have to wait 1 week for before I get them. James says, when are you planning to use your triple captain? I'm already triple captained, James, and it was a bit of a fail because I triple captained Kane in a double game week, and it didn't work out, my friend. He had games against Burnley and Fulham, and Mr. Kane, or Sir Harold of Kane, scored just 8 points, and I got 24 points from my triple captain. Not the best, but you got to take your chances. I took my chance and didn't pay off. Eshan says, Watkins or Lingard? I mean, Eshan, the thing is, Lingard has a game against Wolves, which is a bit tough in my opinion. Wolves have been doing well recently, defensively at least. Watkins, I think I'm just preferring Watkins over Gundogan in my team because I feel with Grealish back, I think he's going to create some chances, and when you get lots of chances, I think there's a chance that Watkins can put one of them away, and that is the reason I'm going with the Watkins. With Lingard, it's a bit difficult because Lingard has been in good form, and if you don't have somebody like Antonio in your team, I would possibly think about going for Lingard as well. Fudzli says, with your wildcard team next week, will it be only 11 playing players with the cheap bench? Not necessarily, it's gonna be a cheap bench, of course, because I don't have my bench boost and I'm not worried about the bench players, but I'm gonna have some. It's kind of, I like to have some like 4.5 million kind of players on my bench, and my substitute keeper is gonna be Fraser Foster. That's a 4 million playing keeper. With an easy fixture for Southampton, I can definitely put Foster in there for mostly it's gonna be 11 good players and 4 cheap players, but not necessarily enablers. And the wildcard in Game Week 31. Yes, Michael, it depends on your team, Michael. If your team looks good, you don't necessarily have to kind of wildcard. If you have a good team, you can save your wildcard for later. There's going to be a double game week in 35. You can possibly wildcard in 34 and bench boost in 35 as well. So, there's lots of possibilities there. Shane says, Martinez, Target, Shaw, Rudiger. So you've got 3 brilliant defenders. Martinez and Target, Aston Villa double up, but look good. Fernandes, Salah, Rafinha, Gundogan, Vardy, Kane, Watkins. That's a fantastic team. That's a kind of a different team to what we're mostly seeing on Twitter, but that looks like a decent team, Shane. He says he's on the bench. He's got Forster, Cresswell, Odegaard, Veltman. I like that team a lot. Who's your captain, Shane? Surfro says, hi Wiz, hope you're staying safe. Any Chelsea midfielder exciting enough to get in? I mean, I'm thinking about Mason Mount. I think on my wildcard, I'll possibly think about him. Other than that, I'd possibly, I was thinking about Kai Havertz, but I just want to see more from him in a Chelsea shirt before I can think about getting in Kai Havertz. I had him in my team at the start of the season, and it wasn't too bad. But I just want him to do well. And Mount is cheaper, and he's been doing so well in international duty as well. And I expect Mason Mount to do well, and he's the one I'm looking at. Joseph says, best Chelsea defender to own. I think the safest Chelsea defender, I think, is Rudiger. The best one, it's a bit tough because I'd love to say Alonso, but with Alonso, the problem is he's not nailed on. If you have a strong enough bench and if you can take a risk, then I think Alonso is the one who's gonna give you the highest ceiling. The best in terms of safest, I think, is Rudiger or Azpilicueta, and the most explosive, I think, is Alonso, in my opinion. James says, if you had the triple captainship again, where would you use it? Hope everything is okay in India. Yeah, James, as you know, with the COVID situation, everything is kind of, things are blowing up again, and we've got this new UK strain in India, but we're all trying to stay safe and, hope for the best. About the triple captainship, if I had a triple captainship again, let's kind of have a look at the fixtures. I think Spurs have got a double game week in 32, like they're playing Southampton, and who else are they playing? They're playing Everton and Southampton, so this might not be the worst time because you can use a triple captain here, or you can wait for game week 35, in which we all also are expecting a double game week as well. So you can think about 32, in which Spurs have a double game week. One more thing I would like to say about triple captaincy is that you don't have to essentially use it in a double game week. You can use it in a single game week. For example, when Sheffield United or somebody like Newcastle, they get relegated, their players are on the beach, they are not interested in playing, and when they play against a team like Manchester United or somebody like Manchester City, and they are already relegated, they are expected to get a beating. So even in a single game week, it's not the worst time to use a triple captainship, but for that you're gonna have to wait a little bit late, otherwise you can go for a double game week. Shane says, Kane or Fernandes captain, don't know. Yeah, but that's the obvious choice. I mean, as you know, I'm going with Kane, Shane. So Rafinha captain as a differential. I mean, Rafinha, Bamford, they're both good differential captains as well. It all depends upon whether you want to go for a differential or not, and what's your overall rank, and that's the most important thing to kind of note. Sid says, hey Wiz, planning to get Alonso for White as a punt as I'm wildcarding the next week. That's pretty good, my friend. I think I'd approve of that move, and I wish I could do that too, but I just went for Bamford. But Alonso for 1 week, I think, yeah, why not? Barry says, hey, I'm gonna use bench boost. I've got Dallas, Sofal, Azpilicueta, Reguilon, and Cancelo. Anyone except Dean to replace Cancelo. Yeah, I think you can, if you're using bench boost, I mean, Dean has a really good fixture against Palace, so I would love having Dean in my team. If you don't want to go with Dean, I think the other one you can think about is Alonso, possibly. Who should I play, Antonio or Salah? To be honest with you, when you have Salah in your team, you don't bench Salah, my friend. He's the penalty taker for Liverpool, and Liverpool have been getting better. If you look at the stats, ever since Fabinho came back, Liverpool are getting better. Liverpool's attack was never the problem. The problem was they were not able to kind of retain the ball, and their defense was really shambolic. So the wingers like Salah and Mane, they were having to do defensive duties. They were having to drop back, and they were not able to kind of cohesively play as a unit with Fabinho back. And I think Liverpool are going to be better. In my opinion, if you have Salah, you never bench him. That's just my opinion. Success says, hey bro, hope you're doing well. Gundogan, Lingard, Bale, who to sell for Bruno? If I was you, possibly I would definitely go for I'll said Bale, because Bale is not nailed on, and Gundogan and Lingard, they are more desirable players. If you have the funds, you can possibly think about selling Gundogan as well. But in the long run, if you think I think I wouldn't want Bale in my team. I would want Lingard, I would want Gundogan, but I wouldn't want Bale. Anas says I still have my wildcard bench boost and triple captain. When should I use these? As I already said, Anas, in game week 32, there's going to be a double game week for Spurs. You can possibly think about that using your triple captain in 32, and there's also going to be a big double game week in game week 35 due to the FA Cup fixtures, and you can think about using your bench boost then. As I also said to excuse me, as I also said to my friend James up there, you can wait for some teams to get relegated, and when they get relegated, you can attack those teams. That's a really good ploy for using your triple captain as well. You don't necessarily have to use it in a double game week, you know. Pedro says, I see you have Bale in your team, me too, but no Son, and I have Maja off the bench but not Gundo. I'm toying with swapping Bale for Son. Is it worth it? Pedro, I think it is definitely worth it. I think Son's fit. I think he's gonna play. With Bale, you know, especially with his comments, like he said, he's only in Tottenham for 1 year. The plan was always to go back to Real Madrid. I'm just not feeling confident about Bale anymore, and I want to get him out of my team as soon as possible. I'm just waiting for my wildcard in Game Week 31 so that I can get him off my team. But since I have him, I put him in the team. In your case, if you have your free transfer, I would swap him for Son. I would definitely do it. Budzily says, which team have the chance of a double game week? I'm sure Villa have one game in hand. Yeah, of course, Villa is going to have one fixture in 35, I think. Other than that, Spurs are having a double game week in 32. And you know, I think Everton also has one game to go, so these teams do have a chance of a double game week. Sid says, are you going to wildcard next game week? Yeah, Sid, I mean, that's the plan. I'm going to have to, you know, the thing is I don't want to commit anything. I just want to see my team perform in game week 30 to kind of, you know, make a decisive statement about my wildcard, but I am planning to use my wildcard in 31. If I don't use my wildcard in 31, I'll possibly use it in 32 or something, you know, but I just want to see my team perform before I can make this decision. Who to play Watkins? SH, I don't understand your question. Can you be more clear, bro? Fadli says, would you bench Diaz for Bamford? Yes, Fadli, I would. Shane says, do you rate a safe or risk pick for captain to get me back into the top 10,000? Shane, to be honest with you, if you're close to a 10,000 rank, I would play it safe, you know, and because I think this is not if you're close to a good rank, I think this is not the time to kind of take a risk, because this game week there are many obvious captain choices, but there's gonna come some game weeks where there are multiple obvious captain choices, or there are like no good captain choices at all when the big teams play each other and stuff. That's the time when you go for a differential. In my opinion, if you're close to 10,000, I'd play it safe with Kane. Barry says, only reason I don't also I want to add to that, Shane, everybody has a different playing style. I mean, I'm kind of a manager who likes to play it safe most of the time with a couple of risks, especially like the ones I took in 29, which don't pay off, which make me even more conservative. But yeah, it depends on the type of manager you are, you know. Barry says, only reason I don't want to use Dean is cause Everton's clean sheet regardless. Yeah, but that's true, especially when you play a team which has a player like Wilfried Zaha in it. You know, there's always a chance that they give away a penalty, or so that's the reason. I said you can go for Alonso over Dean if you're not feeling confident, but in itself, I think Dean is a good pick as well, because he's not only about the clean sheets, right? He's also about the attacking returns, and Palace tend to concede a lot from the set pieces, and Dean takes free kicks, corners sometimes, you know. So it's a bit touch and go with me. Who to play, Watkins or Bale? I mean, SH, that's a really tough one. Do you have Kane and Son? Do you have Antonio in your team? I mean, what's your team like? Tell me your whole team and I'll give you a good answer. Budzily says, Son and Kane till the end, game week 38. Yeah, I think that's pretty. Let's see their fixtures, and you know, I mean, they don't have really tough fixtures. I mean, they've got Manchester United, but that's at home, and they actually beat Manchester United really convincingly at Old Trafford as well, but you know, that was a different United. But you know, they don't have too many difficult fixtures, and if I was you, I would definitely, I mean, they don't have another big team except Leicester in game week 38, and you know, I think Spurs assets are desirable. Only thing is you need to plan benching them in game week 33 because they are having a blank game week due to the EFL. But other than that, I think they're really I think they're really desirable, Kane and Son, till Gameweek 38 now. Pedro says, my team Martinez, target Dallas, Kinsella, Bale, Rafinha, Lingard, KDB, Gundig, Bamford, Kane, bench, Majo, Pereira. I mean, if you want, you can roll a transfer. If I was you, I'd possibly think about swapping Kinsella for Alonso, or I would also think about getting Son in place of Bale. I think your team looks really good, but if you want, you can even go for somebody like Bruno Fernandes in place of Bale. But for this game week, I'd say Son for Bale looks good. Pro Gamer says, bro, Cresswell, Rudiger, Dallas, Salah, Bale, Son, Rafinha, Kane, Watkins, Antonio. Who to replace for Diaz? Who to replace for Diaz? I mean, why do you want to play Diaz? I think your team looks good, bro. I think you should bench Diaz and you should play. I mean, if you want, you can possibly think about Cresswell, but I'd say you bench Diaz and play. I mean, Cresswell, Rudiger, Dallas. I don't think this is a wrong thing, because Diaz is a defender, right? And do you expect them to keep a clean sheet versus Leicester? Not necessarily. Even if they keep a clean sheet, it's just 6 points, right? Don't expect him to get too many attacking returns. So it's not a big call in my opinion, my friend. If you want, you can bench him. Success says Gundogan, Antonio, Bamford. Ooh, this is a tough one. If I was you, I'd possibly think about Bamford. Bamford, yes, definitely in my team, and I'd choose one out of Gundogan and Antonio. And I'd say I'd play Antonio and Bamford, because Gundogan, I'm just feeling, he's played 3 games in the international break for Germany, and with Borussia Dortmund coming up, I think Pep might want to rest him. They're not necessarily at a risk of losing the lead at the top of the table, and I think they can, if need be, they can bring on Gundogan later. Would you want 90 minutes from Antonio, or do you want 30 minutes from Gundogan? That is the decision that you need to make. Bamford, I'll play definitely. Joseph says, I have Salah and Gundogan. I would start Salah, Joseph, definitely. Konsa or Watkins? Nishchil, it depends on what other defenders you have. Like, if you can tell me your team, I'd be better placed to help you, but out of these two, I'd start Watkins. Anas says, who to captain? Son, Bamford, DCL, Bruno. I mean, you've got really good options, Anas, I'd have to say this. And the thing is, with Son, like, he's not on penalties. Bamford is on penalties. He has a good fixture. DCL, Bruno. I mean, if I had to choose between them, I wonder if you have Kane in your team, but if you don't, if I had to choose only between them, I would be tempted to go for Bamford, honestly. Second would be Bruno. Close second would be Bruno Fernandes, because Fernandes is always a good captain. But if you don't have Kane, I'd be a little bit tempted to go for Bamford, my friend. Would you transfer in Bamford for DCL, says Razif? I wouldn't. Not this game week, my friend. Not this game week. Melivap says, smash that like button. Guys, I'd listen to him. Please, if you haven't hit like, and we've got 46 people watching, please like this stream. I would really appreciate that. Wiz says, if you... Fadzali says, not Wiz. Fadzali says, if you wildcard next week, is Shaw on your watch list? Yes, my friend. He's definitely on my watch list. I think he's the best United defender. And in the attacking sense as well. So yeah, definitely on my watch list, bro. John says, hey Wiz, hope you're fine. John, I'm great. I hope you're fine as well. David says, suggestion of a -4 for Bale to Mount. I mean, it depends, David. When are you wildcarding? If you're wildcarding next week, I don't think that's a move that you need to make. But if you don't have your wildcard and if you plan for the long term, then you can. Bjorn says, who would you start, Gundogan or Lingard? Bjorn, the thing is, I'm tempted to say Lingard. That the reason for this is because I just feel that Gundogan might be benched. I just have a feeling he might play, as you never know with Pep Guardiola. But Lingard, I think he's in good form, and with Gundogan, I think after KDB came back, his attacking influence has waned a little, and I think if I had the option, I'd possibly, I'd love to say Gundogan, but because I'm afraid that he's going to be benched, I have to say Lingard. Gaspa says Lacazette or Gundogan bench. They're not both the best of options to have this game week, because Lacazette has a game against Liverpool, and Gundogan, as I already talked about Gundogan a lot. If I was you, I'd possibly prefer Lacazette. Just because he's gonna get minutes at least. I'm sure that Lacazette is gonna start for Arsenal. But this is a bit, with Gundogan, guys, it's a bit tough for me to predict. All I'm saying is I think that he might get less minutes this game week because of the Champions League game, because of other fixtures coming up, because of the EFL final coming up. I'm just a little bit wary about Gundogan. That is the only reason. Otherwise, Gundogan is a fantastic FPL asset. I don't have anything against him. El Shibani says best starting 11 wildcard active. I think if I was you, and depending upon your rank, I would put in Mendy and 2 Chelsea defenders. Just if I've to kind of. Chelsea have got 5 good fixtures, and if they keep 3 clean sheets, you'll be rewarded. I would put in somebody like Rudiger, Alonso, and then I'd put in Mendy as a keeper, and other than that, I'd put in Luke Shaw, I'd put in Dallas, and Kane. I would definitely Bamford, Rafinha, Bruno Fernandes, Diogo Jota, Son. These are the main players I would love to have in my wildcard. James says going to triple captain Kane this week. James, that's a bold move, and I wish you all the best, my friend. As I told you, there's never a bad time to triple captain anybody, and there's never a good time. Sometimes you triple captain the best player and it fails, and sometimes you triple captain a differential and it works for you. If you want, you could wait as well. But if you're feeling it, if you have an instinct and you want to go for it, then I wish you luck, my friend. Girid says chances of a West Bromwich upset today. I don't think so, my friend. I think Chelsea. The thing is with Chelsea, since Tuchel has joined them, they've not exactly battered a team. They've won like they battered a team. I mean, I'm not sure. Maybe they won one game with with like a lot of goals, but I just can't remember. 1-2, 2-1, 0-0, 2-0, 1-0, 1-2, 2-0, 0-0. That is the kind of results that Tuchel has been getting. So I'm just not feeling too confident that Chelsea gonna hammer like West Bromwich Albion. They're gonna win by 2 goals maybe, but this just not playing. They're playing well, but they're playing like within a system. There's not a fluidity in that attack, like freedom. No, freedom is the right word, not fluidity. Excuse me. Pratik says, hey Wiz, long time no see. Which keeper shall I start, Martinez or Ederson? If I was you, I would be tempted to start Martinez this game week, bro. Bakshot says, hit that like button. Thank you, bro. Ranjit says, who to start between Pope or Areola? If I was you, I'd be thinking about going for Pope. I think Fulham are a good team, but I think with Jack Grealish coming back, I think Fulham can concede. So can Pope, but I still feel that Burnley are a better defensive unit as a whole, and Southampton are not in the best of form either. Jaditya says bench 1 Salah, KDB, Lingard. If I was you, I would bench Lingard, my friend. Asset says my team Sanchez, Dean, Dallas, Konsa, Rafinha, Lingard, KDB, Son, Antonio, Watkins, Kane. Bench Bale. You benching Bale? That's a bit tough for me to kind of he's a very expensive player, but yeah, I don't see many options for you to bring in Bale. Maybe for Lingard, but I wouldn't recommend it. Yeah, I'd say I still prefer Watkins over Konsa. Jota in for Salah, worth it. I mean, it depends, Aditya. Like, if you want to bring somebody else in and you need the money, then you can bring in Jota for Salah. But looking at the fixtures that Liverpool have left, I would love to have Salah in my team. Ajay says, hey mate, just came here. Welcome, Ajay. I hope you're first of all, congratulations for having a great game week 29 and coming back close to that top 100 mark. I really congratulate you for that and wish you all the best for this game week. And Ajay says, I have one big dilemma this week. Please help me. Transfer plan is Salah and Antonio to Kane and Jota, Rafinha. Who would you prefer between Jota and Rafinha? For this week, my friend, I would definitely prefer Rafinha over Jota. I think Rafinha has a great chance against Sheffield United, especially when Sheffield United conceded 5 goals to Leicester after Chris Wilder has gone, and Leeds are the kind of team which can exploit, weak teams who are defensively weak, I'd honestly feel that this week I'd say Kane and Rafinha, my friend. That would be my call. John says already did a transfer. Traore to Gundogan, current team Martinez, Stones, Cancelo. So you've got two City defenders in there. Interesting. Bruno, Gundogan, Salah, Lingard, Bamford, Kane, DCL, Sanchez, Burn, Konsa, Pereira. To be honest with you, my friend, I would take out one of the City players and put in Konsa, because I feel that City against Leicester is not going to be that easy of a game. Should I take a -4 for Chelsea? I think you can, but it depends on which player you want to bring in. If you are asking me whether you should take a -4 for Alonso, it's a short-term transfer because Alonso is not nailed on. This game week might start, but long-term, not sure about Alonso, right? So it depends on which player you are thinking about. All right, moving on, guys. Lots of questions coming in. Pratik says, shall I go with Bale, Son, Salah, Gundogan, Rafinha, Kane, Bamford, or include Antonio and take out any of the midfielders? I mean, out of your team, if I was to start Antonio over anybody, it would be Gundogan. Otherwise, I think it looks fine. But if I was you, I'd possibly put in Antonio and bench Gundogan out of that team. Sanjay says, hey Wiz, hey Sanjay, welcome my friend. Nishil says, Dallas, Cancelo, Dean, Fernandes, Rafinha, Lingard, Son, Kane, Watkins, Bamford, bench Konsa, Gundogan, Sofal. Replace Watkins with Konsa or another bench. No, I'd say I'd go with Watkins. I'd say I'd go with Watkins, I don't know who your goalkeeper is, by the way, my friend, but if you have Martinez, then that's good. I'd still go with Watkins. I prefer the attacker over the defender always. Light says, hey Wiz, hey Light, welcome bro. Sudeep says, I have Bale. Will he start or transfer him for Son? If you have one free transfer, and if you don't have any other problems in your team, I'd prefer you transfer him out for Son, my friend. Sanjay says, I came to thank you. I asked you last week if I should wildcard or not with 6+ Son. As you said I did, I got 83. My word, my friend. That is an amazing score to get in a blank game week. 83 points. So, congratulations, and I'm so happy that my advice worked for you, bro. I wish you all the best, and now that 40k, let's turn it to top 10k by the end of the season. I would be really happy if that happens, bro. Fedja says Lingard form or Wolves mid, good fixtures. I mean, they're both good, to be honest with you. I'd say if you can get somebody like Pedro Neto, I wouldn't be against it, because West Ham have like really tough fixtures coming, and by tough I mean like really tough, So if you are on wildcard and you're thinking about whether to go for Pedro Neto, I'd say yes, you can. Smelly Web says, any thoughts on my team? Martinez, Dallas, Azpilicueta, Cresswell. So you've got Azpilicueta, Dallas, and Cresswell. Fernandes, Son, Bale, Lingard, Kane, Watkins, Bamford. To be honest with you, my friend, I really like that team for especially for this game week. It's a pretty strong one, and yeah, I wouldn't change anything out of that team. That's pretty good. Looks pretty good to me. Nike says, Wiz, benching dilemma. Start one from Rudiger, Jota, Diaz, and Lingard. If I was you, I'd possibly... Which one would I start? I'd say I'd start possibly, this is a tough one, because this looks... I'd definitely not start Diaz. So he's out of the question. Out of the other three, Rudiger, Jota, and Lingard, which one would I start? I'd say Jota or Lingard, because I think Rudiger has a chance to keep a clean sheet, but I'm pretty sure since you are on a wild card, you already have a Chelsea defender in there. So either you just put Rudiger in there and double the risk, or if you want to divide it, then I'd possibly go for Jota, possibly. Yeah. But it's a tough one, since you have a really strong team because you are on a wild card, yeah? Suleiman says, which three to start out of Azpilicueta, Stones, Dallas, Dean? If I was you, I would bench Stones, Suleiman. Fudzily says there will be 6 to 8 teams that play in double game week 35. When to use free hit the last game week? I mean, Fudzily, you can use a free hit in a double game week to make the best out of that. I mean, it's not, there is no rules to using the free hit, right? So if you kind of want to make the best out of a double game week, and you can definitely use your free hit in game week 35, and that's good. Also, you can use your free hit in game week 33 when Spurs have a blank game week to kind of navigate that. Ajay says, I don't have any chip left, so Jota is the long term, right? If I bring in Rafinha this week and next week I have to bench him or sell him for Jota, I mean, to be honest with you, Rafinha is 5.5 million player, and you can keep him for the long term. I know that he doesn't have the best of fixtures, but again, yeah, the long term option is Jota. The short term option is Rafinha. If we consider him long term, you can bench him, and then he's also got like some good fixtures here: Brighton, Burnley, Southampton, West Bromwich Albion. Even these two fixtures at home, Liverpool and United, I wouldn't count him out of scoring in these as well. But I would also have to say that Jota has really good fixtures coming up, and I prefer both of them. If you ask me which one I prefer more, I'd say for the long term, I'd say Jota. Donna says, which transfer should I make this week? Lookman to NATO, Lookman to Rafinha, or Lowton to Rudiger? Lowton to Rudiger, Christiansen, Reece James. Thoughts on Game Week 31, 34 wildcard? So there's lots of questions in there. First of all, I'd say Lookman to NATO. Looks really good move. Maybe not this week, because this week Wolves have a bit of a tough fixture against West Ham United. But long term, I'd say Pedro Neto. Ajay, this is for you too. I think Pedro Neto is another option that you could be looking at. It's not just Jota and Rafinha. I think Pedro Neto has to be in the shout for this position, because they have really, really good fixtures coming up. So if I was you, I would, for this week, Donacio, I would go with Rafinha. For the long term, I would go with Neto. Also, Lowton, I would go from Lowton to Rudiger, because I don't feel that Reece James is nailed on. Between Game Week 31 to 34 wildcard, I'd say wildcarding in 31 should be better if you can plan in a way that you can bench your Spurs assets in Game Week 33 and get away with it. Then I'd say Game Week 31 wildcard should be better. 34, I think it's a bit too late in my opinion. Desmond says, hi Wiz, should I play Stones or Cancelo? If I was you, I'd play Cancelo, my friend. At least he has the chance of an attacking return more than Stones, and I think Leicester have a chance to score against City. Sudeep says, bro, Bruno or Son instead of Bale? That's a tough one, Sudeep, and honestly, I'd love to say, excuse me, I don't know when you're planning to wildcard, because if you're planning to wildcard in 31, then I'd say you can go for Son, but if you're planning to wildcard later and you want a player for the long term, I'd say Bruno as well is not bad. But remember that Son has a double game week in 32. Just a second, let me check Fernandez's fixtures. See, he's got Tottenham in 31, he's got Burnley in 32, and Son has a double game week in game week 32 as well. So I'd say, it's a bit touch and go. If you're wildcarding after 32, I'd say Son. If you're not wildcarding, then I'd say Fernandez. Where was I? There you go. Jake says, best Chelsea defender for the long term. Jake, if you mean the one which is most nailed on and the one which you think is definitely going to play, I'd say I like the look of Antonio Rudiger a lot. He's cheap, he starts every game. If you want a bit more attacking, the one which attacks a little bit more, I'd say Alonso, but he's not nailed on. He's just Tuchel rotates between Chilwell and Alonso, so it's not nailed on, but he has the highest ceiling. The one which is the most nailed on is Rudiger, in my opinion. Aditya says, Son in for Gundogan. Will this work, or should I go for Mount or Bale? I don't think you should go for Bale. I just don't see, he didn't start in Game Week 29. I didn't know the rationale for him not starting and not even coming off the bench in Game Week 29. It was a bit disappointing because I brought him in for a hit, but Son in for Gundogan, I like this transfer, Mount is a good long-term option, but for the next 2 or 3 game weeks, I think Son is the more desirable one. Barry says, overview on a bench boost. Martinez, Pope, Dallas, Espilicueta, Reguilon, Alonso, Sofal, Rafinha, Mount, Fernandes, Lingard, Gundogan, Bamford, Kane, Antonio. Yeah, I like that, my friend. I like that a lot. You've got two Chelsea defenders. I like that a lot. Yeah. Bob says, "Hey Viz, should I play Gundogan and Fernandes and leave Antonio on the bench? Or play Fernandes and Antonio and leave Gundogan on the bench?" Bob, my like logic there is, again, Antonio is going to play 90 minutes, right? So he has more chance to kind of do something. With Gundogan, he played 3 games in the international break, and then he also has a Champions League tie coming up. So Pep might, it's just a logic, a prediction. Pep might rest Gundogan in this game. That's just what I feel. Could be wrong. I could be definitely wrong. Nobody is able to guess Pep correctly, but I feel if I was you, I'd play Fernandes and Antonio. Aditya says, will Chilwell start this game week? I'm not sure, Aditya. I think Chilwell might not, because he played in the international break. He had some games for England, and I feel that Alonso might start this game. Sanjay says, keeper for season from this week, or currently have Martinez, thinking Leno, Mendy or Patricio. To be honest with you, that they are great shouts, my friend. And I'd love, like, Leno has got great fixtures, Mendy as well. Patricio is like an outside shout, which none of the people are considering. With Martinez, all I can say is that he has a chance of getting a double game week. That is the only reason you might consider him. For me, on my wildcard, I was actually thinking about getting Mendy, and I didn't even think about Patricio, so that's a good thing that you kind of brought it into my mind. And Patricio is not a bad shout either. But no, I was thinking about Mendy and Leno, or maybe Forster. If you want to get a keeper for the remainder of the season, I'd say Mendy seems to be the best choice, and I think Patricio is really, a hidden kind of a choice which not many people are going for, but Wolves have got great fixtures, and I would love to have Patricio. Hang on, guys, let me show you the Wolves fixtures, because the reason why I'm saying this, I would love to show you the fixtures of Wolves so that you all can consider players like Pedro Neto. Look at their fixtures here: Fulham, Sheffield, Burnley, West Brom, Brighton, Everton. Just 2 fixtures. After 30, there's just two difficult fixtures: Tottenham and United. Other than that, like, these fixtures are like really, really good. Sheffield, Burnley, West Brom, Fulham. I mean, relegation battling teams, and by that time they could have already got relegated. West Brom, who knows what's going to happen with West Brom, Sheffield. So I like the shot of Wolves, but if I was you, I would go with Mendy. Just saying. All right. Need to move on. So many questions. John says, double City defense looks good. Leicester without Madison and Barnes versus City won't create so many chances, and Stones and Cancelo are good. John, that's if your instinct says you should play 2 City defenders, I totally agree with you. But I'm just talking about the chances. I mean, they've got somebody like Jamie Vardy, Iheanacho, and I feel they have a chance on the counter. I still feel that Leicester can score against City, Jose says, hey Viz, this is my team: Martinez, Dallas, Cresswell, Azpilicueta, Bruno, Son, Lingard, Rafinha, Kane, Bamford, Watkins. Please suggest transfer. I don't see any gaping holes in that team, my friend. I'd say you can roll your transfer if you want, I don't see what you can do to improve that team. It looks pretty good to me. Lincoln says, give me a shout out, bro. So shout out to Lincoln, my friend. I think he's got a YouTube channel, so shout out to him. I haven't checked him out, so I don't know the content, but I hope he has good content. So good luck to you for your success, bro. Nike says, Wiz, if I can downgrade on Diaz, I can afford Salah in my team. Proceed. Nike, see, the thing is, City have got some really tough fixtures to come. Let me show you. Like, really tough. Like Leicester, and then this rotation coming. The problem with transferring out Diaz is that I feel he's their only nailed on defender, and with Leeds at home, Aston Villa away, and then they've got a blank in 33, then Crystal Palace, Chelsea. I mean, if I was you, I would possibly want to keep Diaz in my team. If you can get the money for Salah elsewhere, then I'd prefer it. If not, then you can do it, In the end, I think you still would want to have one city defender. If not Diaz, then somebody like Stones possibly, But you wouldn't want to, because the ownership of city defenders is so high that you wouldn't want to go on your wildcard without a city defender. But it all depends on how you're kind of thinking of playing the remaining game weeks. Light says, Wiz, are you tempted to play Gundogan? Is he benched because of playing 3 games for Germany? Light, that is exactly why I've benched him. I think even if he starts, ever since Kevin De Bruyne has come back into the team, I'd see that Gundogan has started playing a bit more deep, and he just doesn't have the same influence anymore. He was making runs into the box, and he was like so omnipresent when Kevin De Bruyne was not there. So, considering all these things, and with the only choice I have is I can take Watkins out for Gundogan, and I feel with Grealish coming back and against Fulham, Grealish can create chances for Watkins, and that is the reason I'm just taking a bit of a risk, but I feel it's worth it. Barry says, thank you, you're really helpful. You're welcome, Barry. I hope I've managed to help you. It's Mr. May says, Lingard or Gundogan as first sub? I would say Gundogan. Aditya says, thank you so much, Wiz. You're welcome, Aditya. I hope you have a great game week, bro. Jake says, best Chelsea defender for long term, Rudiger. I would say the most nailed on Chelsea defender is Rudiger. Sudeep says, bro, will Barkley start since Grealish is back? Who is good, Gundogan versus Leicester or Barkley versus Fulham? I think Barkley is going to start irrespective of whether Grealish is back, because I think El Ghazi and Barkley play in the same place, and Grealish I think is, I think Grealish is not going to play in the place of Barkley, to be honest with you. I think Grealish is going to play on the left flank like he usually does, and Barkley is going to play at the number 10, and on the right, I think is gonna Burton Traore is gonna play. So I think El Ghazi is the one who's gonna make way, or Trezeguet, but not Barkley, in my opinion. If he's fit, he plays. Aditya says, whom to captain this week? Salah or Bruno or Son or Lingard or Rafinha or Bamford? I'd say Bruno is definitely a good shout. Son, Rafinha and Bamford. I think they're great shouts. I wouldn't captain Salah or Lingard. I would say, number one, if I was to captain a bit of a differential, I would go for Bamford. If you want to go for a safe option, I'd captain Bruno or Son. FPL Jug says, how do you rate Wolves' defense, Wiz? I might go with Lingardinho as my captain. I'd rate the Wolves' defense as really solid, my friend, because they don't tend to concede lots of goals. And against relegation struggling teams, I feel Wolves are going to keep a few clean sheets there. So if you have the chance of getting a Wolves defender in, I wouldn't be against that at all. And I might get one Wolves defender in on my wildcard, and I'm thinking about it. Jose says, I have Gundogan, Diaz and Cancelo on my bench. Is it safe to not play with them this week? Jose, if you can manage to get somebody like Diaz or Cancelo in your team, I would prefer it. It's not a bad thing to have all of them on your, I've got Stones and Gundogan on my bench. As you said that, I just realized I've got 2 City players on my bench, but you can play all of the players, and this indicates that you have a strong team. That's all it says. Maybe you can play one City player if you want, and if I had to play one, it would be Cancelo in my opinion. Avnish says, is Jota considerable over Lingard? Yes, I think he is, Avnish. I think Jota has really good fixtures. The only thing is his fitness, but I think he's fit enough since he's been starting since he came back, I think he's good. Excuse me, let me have a drink of water, guys. And meanwhile, why don't you like the stream? If you're having fun, of course. Yep, I'm back. Jaditya says, hey Wiz, this is my team. Martinez, Rudiger, Alonso, Dallas, Westergaard. Westergaard is an interesting one. Dean, KDB, Salah, Kane, DCL, Bamford. You've got just 2 midfielders. Is that so? Yeah, you've got 2 midfielders. That's interesting. You're playing 5 defenders. Rudiger is good, Alonso is good, Dallas, Westergaard, Dean. Yeah, I think that team looks really strong, even though you're playing 5 defenders. That looks really good, Jaditya. I like that team. Start Gundogan or Salah? Salah, in my opinion, my friend. Watkins says, Watkins and Bamford in for Antonio and Maja. Bench Diaz. Bench Diaz is a bit touch and go, but I say yes. Watkins and Bamford for Antonio and Maja, I'd say yes again. Is Martial playing? Let me check. I make this list every week to check and see which team I think is playing. I don't think about Martial is playing, because I think Martial has a knee injury and he did not take part in training That's what I've written in my notes that I made before the stream. So in my opinion, Martial is not going to play. Captain Alonso, Mac, I think that would be going a bit too far. I mean, if you're feeling it, you could. I'm not the type of an FPL manager who tends to captain defenders, but if you're feeling it, if you have the, instinct, you go for it, bro. Hassan says, my team: Martinez, Diaz, Dallas, Shaw, Rafinha, Bale, Bruno, Lingard, Gundogan, Kane, Bamford, Watkins, Sofal, Stones, and one free transfer. The one free transfer I would make in your team possibly would be Bale to Son, because I'm not sure about whether Bale is going to start or not. And other than that, Watkins on your bench looks a bit, again, you can look at my team. I've played Watkins and I've benched Gundogan, so that's a personal choice. But other than that, your team looks good, my friend. Amit says Trossard or Jota, considering upcoming game weeks as well. Let me see. I'm not sure about the Brighton fixtures. I actually have never considered them. So I don't know their fixtures. I'm gonna have to look. Not Trossard, Jota. In my opinion, they've got really tough fixtures, bro. So in my opinion, go for Jota. You can go for Pedro Neto if you don't want to go for Jota. I think Pedro Neto is a great shout. You can go for somebody like Rafinha, but in my opinion, I think Trossard has really tough fixtures, really tough. Shivam says my team: Martinez, Dallas, Shaw, Target. There, that looks good. Bruno, KDB, Gundogan, Rashford. I'm not sure about Rashford. What did I write about Rashford? Marcus Rashford rejoined the training. He might start. So Rashford is a bit touch and go in my notes, but I hope he starts. Inacho, Bamford, Kane. Inacho is a good one, my friend, but he plays against City. So if I was you, I'd possibly, that's a good team, my friend. If you want, you can play Lingard over Inacho, but that's your personal choice. But that team looks really good to me. For Gameweek 33, what are you doing because City and Spurs are not playing? I'm going to wildcard in Gameweek 31, my friend, and I'm going to have 2 Spurs players, and possibly I'm going to have 2 City players. So I'm just gonna, I'm gonna have to make do. I'm gonna put one of them on the bench. The 2 Spurs players and 1 City player on the bench. That's all I'm gonna have to do. And for that game week, I might transfer out 1 player and bring them back in for the next game week or something like that. I have to think about it. But I won't have more than 4 players for that blank, so I'm not too concerned. Think Bale starts, says Aditya. I'm not sure, Aditya, to be honest with you. But since he is in my team and I already made 2 transfers, I wanted to. I just want to put him in my team. I want to risk it. I want to see if he starts, because against Newcastle he can get good returns. So just hitting and hoping, bro. HK says Mahrez is a good punt. Not sure. Especially for this game week, I'm not sure because let me see how many games Mahrez has started so that I can give you a better idea. But I think Mahrez has been starting a lot of games, to be honest with you. That is one thing that I'd give Mahrez. But he's never nailed on for City, Like, he was benched in the game against Fulham. He played 60 minutes against Southampton, and he's been, and in those 60 minutes he scored 18 points. So yeah, I see where you're coming from. He's worth a punt. But remember, he's blanking in 33. So that's the only thing you need to be concerned about. Yes, I definitely think he's worth a punt. A mount for captain, says FPL Jug. FPL Jug, you can, I don't think he's the best option for this game week. Captaining a player like Mason Mount, who just has one way of scoring FPL points, is from open play. Like, he doesn't, maybe he just takes a few free kicks as well. But, technically I feel that, when Hakim Ziyech is going to be on the field, he's going to be taking corners and free kicks and stuff. So I'd say Harry Kane, even Bamford is a good option. Bruno Fernandes. Mount is a bit of a differential. If you're really feeling it, you should go for him. Nike says was going all out on attack from this game week. All or nothing. Diaz out of my team. Just for the safety, I have 1 City defense. Carson. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I'm thinking of playing a little bit attacking as well. Hopefully when I play my wild card, I'm gonna go a bit Daredevil. I'm the kind of FPL manager, for me, small risks equals, big risk or a big move. So I'm probably going to play a little bit more risky on my wildcard, since the rank is not where I would like to end at, and I don't have many chips left, or after my wildcard I won't have any chips left. So I want to attack the remaining game weeks a little bit. So that's how I'm gonna wildcard as well. So good luck to you, bro. Nike says all the best, Wiz. May the arrows be green. See you later. See you later, Nike, and definitely may the arrows be green. Matt says I've got Aubameyang as well. Could get rid, but the next two after Pool are very good. Aditya, see the thing. Sorry, Matt. The thing is, I mean, if I think like Arsenal have got good fixtures, I can since I'm gonna wildcard in Game Week 31, I can get some Arsenal players in, but I still feel that Aubameyang is not worth it. He's too expensive. He's the same price as Bruno Fernandes, and doesn't have the same amount of returns at all this season. It's just not been very good for Arsenal, being Aubameyang this season. So, if you want, you can keep him. Especially if you're not wildcarding. If you are, then you can think about getting rid and maybe getting some other Arsenal players like Bukayo Saka or somebody like that. Aditya says Chiaram's still in contention to start this week. Considering, I think even if Ings is back, it doesn't matter. I think Chiaram has been playing really well, and even for his country, I think. So in my opinion, I think he's going to start. Alif says greetings for Kuala Lumpur. Thank you so much, my friend, and I hope you're fine and you have a great game week. Shivam says best captain this week. इस बार तो कोई अच्छा बता दो सर जी. Game week 28 में आपने बताया और 100 point आए please. Well, Shivam, I think this game week, I think Harry Kane is definitely a good shout. Bruno Fernandes and the Leeds players in Bamford and Rafinha are definitely good shouts. So that's what I feel, my friend. Hassan says, what shall I do for Game Week 33? My team is the previous message, is if that's fine. Hassan, yeah, I'm going to have to go back. Your team is Martinez, Diaz, Dallas. So you've got Diaz, right? And you've got Bale, you've got Kane, Gundogan. So that's that. Oh, you've got Stones as well. So that makes it 5 players. So before Game Week 33, you just need to get rid of 2 players and you shall be fine, bro. You just bench the rest of the 3 and you shall be okay. Sometimes in these blank game weeks you have to make do, especially when the blank game week is of those teams of which you own a lot of players. You just have to make do and you have to plan ahead. So when you're thinking about it, get rid of 2 players, and after game week 33 you get one of the players back in. Salam says, is this your final lineup? Yes sir, this is my final lineup. Aditya says, thoughts on wildcard game week 33 instead of 31? Aditya, it's fine. Definitely fine, bro. It's nothing is right or wrong. It all, if you can get a good team for game week 32 without having to wildcard, then wildcard 33 is a good ploy. Why not? It's even I am not sure that I'm going to wildcard in game week 31. If I can get a good team for game week 31 without having to wildcard, I would not wildcard. It's not wildcard is not something that we should waste just because we think that we should wildcard at that particular time. It's the right time is when your team is like 5 players away from your desired team. That's when you wildcard. Otherwise, you just you just make do how you can. Alif says, who to sub? Mo Salah, Watkins, or Lingard? If I was you, I'd possibly think about I'd play Mo Salah and I'd bench one out of Watkins or Lingard. Which one? It's a bit tough without having a look at your entire team, bro. Alexander says Mount or Bale. Mount, I'd say, because he's more nailed on. Matea says, hi Wiz, have you enjoyed your holiday? Sorry for being late. Do you think Rudiger starts Bamford cap? Hey Matea, I welcome you to the live stream, and yeah, I had lots of fun on my holiday. Thank you for asking. Rudiger, I think, definitely starts, and Bamford captain is a really good shout, especially against a relegation struggling Sheffield United, who lost their charismatic manager in Chris Wilder. I think that is the reason I took a hit for Bamford. I wanted to play him against Sheffield United. I feel Leeds are gonna batter them today. That's what I feel. Green Energy says, who to choose, DCL or Bamford? If I was you, for the long term, I'd say, DCL looks better. For this game week, I would choose Bamford. Even for this game week, I'd say DCL can equal Bamford. So I'd say if you are having to choose one, I think you should go for DCL. He has the better fixtures. Fadzali says, I've got Bruno, Kane, but I'm tempted to captain Bamford. I need a rank rise between Bamford and Rafinha. Which one is the better captain? I'd say Bamford, because he's on penalties. 1, 2, he's in good form. He's been, scoring goals. And I always, I think captaining a striker is better than captaining a midfielder. Although Sheffield United concede a lot of shots outside the box, I still feel that Bamford can do well. So yeah, they're both good shots. But if I was you, I'd captain Bamford. Shivam says, thank you, Sir Ji, इस बार आग लगा देंगे. Good luck to you, Shivam. I hope you do well, bro. Zayad says Reguilon starts. I think he would, Zayad. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't start. Bob says, hey, Wiz, what do you think about Gundogan and Bale out, bring in De Bruyne and Lucas Moura? Yeah, De Bruyne is definitely a good shout, Bob, but I'm not sure about Lucas Moura, especially with, Son coming back in and Bale starting the games. Do we think that Lucas Moura has a place or he's nailed on? Not sure. I'm just not sure about that. And Lucas Moura doesn't have the returns in him. So why not De Bruyne and Pedro Neto? Why not De Bruyne and, somebody like Rafinha or somebody like Jota? While Lucas Moura, I'd say there are better options, in my opinion, Bob. Buckshot says 10 minutes to lock your team. Thank you so much for the shout out, Bucks. And yeah, I've had so much fun talking to you guys today. It's just it didn't appear that it's been about 1 hour since we've been streaming, guys. Someone says, hi Wiz, felt like a year-long international break. It certainly did, but to be honest with you, after a shambolic Gameweek 29 Soman, I needed it, bro. I needed it, absolutely. Salam says, I can't get rid of Oba for Fernandes. Any suggestions? Salam, why can't you get rid of Oba for Fernandes? Don't you have any money in the bank? If not, then I'd say go for Son, He should be your second best option. Fadzali says, Wiz, I thought you'll only take a hit and captain the player you take a hit for. Fadzali, you are right, bro. You're absolutely right. And I've thought about it, and that strategy has worked for me a lot this season. But after a bit, it's become a bit dubious. It's become a bit, you can say, what's the right word? I can't find the right word to say. It's become a bit boring to just go after your captaincy, especially when it doesn't work. It feels really bad. So I'm bending the rules a bit, especially on my wildcard. After I wildcard, I'm going to go a bit Daredevil. I'm going to make some decisions. I want to get close to the rank I want to be. I was on 60k, 75k at like 5 or 6 game weeks ago, and been in free fall, especially in Gameweek 29. I got 31 points. It's been hard, so I just need to kind of shake up a few things, and that's the reason I changed it. But that's what I said. I agree with that. Najla says, play Oba or Lukman. Najla, to be honest with you, if you have Aubameyang, either you play him or you get rid of him. You don't bench 11.5 million player. If you can, just take out Aubameyang and get somebody like Son or Bruno Fernandes, because I don't see the point of benching an 11.4 million asset. It's too much. Jayaditya says, Gameweek 29, I captain Pascal Gross. He got only 1 assist. However, I got 51 points from 6 players. That's fantastic, bro. That's absolutely fantastic. And, for me, the problem was I was going to go for Trossard and Lingard, but because of the price, it just swayed my mind. And I went for Aubameyang and I went for Bale. And it was a disaster because Bale didn't start and Aubameyang was atrocious. But let's not talk about Gameweek 29. It took me 2 weeks to forget it. Let's move on, guys. Let's get some good green arrows this game week, innit? Zayed says Kane or Bamford or Son to captain. I'd say Kane or Bamford are really good options. If you are on a really good rank, Ziad, and you want to play safe, I'd say go for Kane. If you're on a bad rank, and you already have 2 or 3 Spurs players, I'd say you can go with Bamford. Your overall rank, says Abhishek. My overall rank is 196k at this moment in time, Abhishek. Not the best. I want to get close to that, right now, realistically, I'm targeting 50k. I hope I can get there because, I was at like 60k midway through the season, and just being in, like from the 5-6 game weeks, I had some bad luck, really bad luck. Aditya says best Chelsea defensive option. I'd say Rudiger. Attacking wise, Alonso is better, but he's not nailed on, as I already said. Antonio or Lingard on the bench? Lingard. I'd say I would play Antonio over Lingard. He's on penalties, so how is Alonso or James? I'd say Alonso and James are both not nailed on. So remember, if you get Alonso or Reece James, expect them not to start all the games. Shaw or Target? I'd say Shaw because Aston Villa have some tough fixtures coming up, and I'd say Luke Shaw is are really playing really attacking and playing really well this season. So I'd say Luke Shaw. Avnish says I have Son, Bruno, Rafinha, looking for one more midfielder. Got 9.2 million in the bank. So you've got Son. I'd say why not take a punt on somebody like Pedro Neto? He's got good fixtures coming up, and I really like the look of him, bro. And other than that, obviously you can go for the usual suspects, but I'd say I'm liking the look of Pedro Neto a lot. Mason Mount as well. Why not? No. George Lyle says Salah to Fernandes. George, if you want, you can, especially for this game week. But eventually, you might want Salah and Fernandes both, because Liverpool have really, really good fixtures to end the season, and ever since Fabinho's come back, Liverpool have looked better. So for this game week, I'd say yes, but in the long term, you will need some Liverpool attacking players. Ajay says, team locked, best of luck everyone, Kane captain. So Ajay is close to top 100, guys. I think he's top 300 in the world, and he's captaining Kane. So I wish him all the best, and I really wish you end the season in the top 100, my friend. That will be absolutely amazing. He's been a supporter of this channel since the very early days, and I'm so happy that one of our own is doing so well, guys. Jake says Dean or Reguilon. I'd say if you have both, you play both of them, but if you want to get one of them in, I'd say Dean. George Lyle says, will Mount start? George, I don't see why not. To be honest with you, I think he will start. Under Tuchel, he's starting most of the games, so why not? I have wildcard check my team, says Yash. Yash, you are a little late, but I will check your team, bro. But you should be more early. Bamford, Antonio, Kane. I'd like that. If you can get DCL in place of Antonio, I would prefer that. Bruno, Jota, Gundogan, Son, Grealish. I like that. Sofal, Alioski, Stones, Shaw, Cody, Mendy. To be honest with you, take out McCarthy, put in Forster. Alright, take out Mendy and put in Fraser Forster. With the money, you upgrade Alioski to Dallas. That would be my choice. One more thing, bro. If you can get in DCL in place of Antonio, I would love that. Also with Grealish, he has really, really tough fixtures coming up. So be careful with going there. I prefer Pedro Neto over Grealish. For this game week, Grealish is fine. Next game week, you can replace him. So these are my quick points, because in such a short time, that's all I can say, bro. Matt says sell Cresswell for Reece James. Tough fixtures for West Ham coming. But you see, Reece James is not nailed on, Matt. If you want to sell him for somebody, sell him for Rudiger or somebody who's nailed on. Reece James is not nailed on, in my opinion. The D prediction says, would you choose Azpilicueta as a captain rather than Kane? D, I would not. If you had asked me about Alonso, I would still think about it. Azpilicueta is not that attacking that I would choose him as a captain over Kane. I wouldn't. Thomas says Kane or Fernandes. Thomas, both are good. Let me refresh my team for you to see, guys. This is my final locked in team. Today we didn't have too many problems selecting the team, especially on the stream. So if I was you, I'd captain. As you see, I've chosen Kane, but it depends on what you're looking at, where you are with your overall rank and what you want. Watkins or DCL for Antonio? DCL. Lightrace says 2 minutes to go. Guys, all of you, stop asking questions. Go lock your teams. I don't want you to miss the deadline. We've had a long talk about Gundogan. We have a long talk about Antonio. Go and lock your teams, please. Kane, KDB or Rafinha for captain? I'd select Kane. First, number 1 Kane, number 2 Rafinha and KDB both. So Kane would be my option out of those. Go and lock your teams, guys. It says Rockstar has given the Chelsea team on Twitter. It is impossible. Really? Rockstar, how can he give the team 1.5 hour before? It's impossible. Let me check for you guys. 1 minute remaining. Nope. No. Rockstar hasn't given any team. I don't see any teams, guys. Do I see it? No, I don't see any teams. Anyways, answering questions quick. Also, should I start? I don't see the team from Rockstar. DCL or Richarlison? DCL. Guys, lock your teams. Now is not the time to ask the questions. Go lock your teams. I don't see any team from Rockstar. Don't get fooled. You won't get any early team news. It's 1.5 hour deadlines. You will not get any team news, guys. Stop, listening to anybody. Just lock your teams. Go and lock your teams, everybody. Oof. No, don't listen to anybody. No, Alonso and Mount are not benched. That is a fake team news. Don't listen to anybody. There is no early team news from now onwards, guys. Don't be fooled. Be relaxed. Like Smelly Wab would say, Zen, guys. Do not panic. Never panic, please. Never panic. Alright? You will not get early team news. Oh my god. Yash, I told you to change McCarthy to Forster, bro. McCarthy is not even starting. George, I know what you mean. I'll definitely, after the stream, I'll have a look. I think he got fooled by somebody, who was like impersonating as FPL Rockstar. But as I told guys, remember, there is no point in getting fooled by anybody because the deadline has been shifted 1.5 hours before the match starts and no early team news is possible. Please understand, my friends. Do not panic at the last minute. Do not take bad decisions. I'm here to help you guys. If there is any team news, I am the first one who's going to help you and who's going to tell you. Please do not panic, all right? We are all here as a community to help each other, so be be strong, guys, and trust your own decisions, and we shall get through this, guys, and I'll help you as much as I can, of course. Alrighty, guys. That was a little bit crazy at the deadline, with the with fake news coming in and stuff, but I think we got through it pretty well, and So I hope you locked your teams in time, and I hope you have a great game week in the end, and you did not make any bad decisions based on the fake team news. Anyways, guys, so I think this was a healthy deadline stream, and I hope I was able to answer all your questions. And remember, guys, from now onwards, I'm planning some things for this channel, and I'm going to start improving some things, and I'm going to start producing more content, just because I feel I enjoy doing this stuff a lot, and I'm not the thing is, I'm making football videos on my other channel, and I'm doing lots of other things, and just not getting enough time for FPL. But I'm going to start producing more content, maybe in collaboration, maybe as a podcast or something. I don't know, guys, but I'm gonna make FPL more enjoyable for you, and I hope you all are ready to consume more content from this channel. But that is for another day, guys. I hope you enjoyed the deadline stream today. We'll bring it to an end here, because I'm not gonna stay like 30 minutes to wait for the team news. I think that's going to be a long time today, and no more talk about food. Maybe that's for another day as well. So on this note, guys, I thank you all for being here and coming here, staying with me for such a long time talking about FPL, and I hope you all locked your teams, and I hope that I was able to help you with your decisions. So all of you, take care of yourselves. I wish you have a great game week, and hopefully next game week when you come here, we're going to be on our wildcard, and that's going to be an interesting one as well. So take care, everybody. Have a great game week, and of course, may the arrows be green. Stay safe. Take care. FPL Wizard signing out with a beautiful song for all of you. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.